Hello everyone and welcome back. Jeb Smith here. So in today's video, I want to talk about home prices in a little bit more detail. How home prices are continuing to rise at such a crazy pace, why real estate agents are pricing the properties low to drive up the price. Are they? Because that's what I'm hearing quite often. In fact, there was a story recently that was posted. It was a story from Washington, D.C., where there was a realtor that listed a home, 88 offers on that property, 76 of them were cash. The property sold $200,000 over the asking price. And in many cases, I have viewers talking about their cases where they're offering $350,000 over the asking price in the Bay Area and still not getting homes. So, it's crazy. It's chaos out there, and a lot of buyers are getting discouraged. They're getting emotional, and they're starting to look to the listing agents on those properties, wondering why listing agents are pricing the property so low if that's not really the price, that they're going to accept. And I can understand that, but I want to take a minute and talk about it, right? Because, there's a couple of different ways to price a home. Unfortunately, a lot of that has been thrown out the window, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So traditionally, if we're listing a home, I'm listing a home. The one approach is listing the property at fair market value. What does that mean? That means I go out, look at the comparables of that property, try to find similar properties that have sold. I might factor in what the market is doing, so it's appreciating at 1 or 2% per month, factor that in, and that's the price that I would recommend the seller list the property at. That's what I would call fair market value. There's also been the strategy that we price the property high, right? The seller thinks, hey, I can get this price for it. It might be more than I think it's worth. And, we go at it that way, right? And in some cases, that works. But there are ways to overprice a property. So, my strategy's always been the fair market value. But you also have the strategy of underpricing a home, where you list it less than you think it will actually sell for, to get multiple offers on that property, to bid up the price higher than maybe fair market value, because you get this frenzy, these people bidding against one another, and that drives the price up. And a lot of people believe that that's actually what's happening in the housing market right now, because buyers are going out putting in offers on property, competitive offers, and they're seeing it go well above the asking price. I mean, in fact, I have a story recently. A client of mine, we put an offer in on a property here in Southern California. It was listed at $750,000, and this was just a couple of days ago. We just got the counter back yesterday, or no counter back in that case yesterday. We got a response back yesterday, but property was listed at $750,000. In fact, it sold in January. It sold in January in the mid fives, so 200 or so less than it's listed at now. It was a flip. Investor came in, put some money into the property, did new flooring, new countertops, kitchen, that sort of thing, remodeled one of the bathrooms, but not an expensive remodel by any means. I would say probably $30,000, $40,000 on the remodel. Still needed new windows, didn't have air conditioning, still needed air conditioning furnace. It had the old wall heater, so it still needed money to be put in it. It wasn't a perfectly remodeled property by any means. And my clients wanted to put an offer in on that property. And so we looked at comparables, low sevens on that property. And because it only had one bathroom, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, we didn't think the activity on it would be quite as crazy, just because most people want at least 2 bathrooms, so on and so forth. So we offered, asking price on the property. And I honestly thought we were, in it, close to what it would sell for, just because there was nothing even close to that price to begin with. It ended up selling over $800,000, which is over $50,000 higher than we made an offer, and there wasn't a comparable in sight. In fact, my comment to the agent on the other side was, "Dude, there's not a comparable within $50,000 of the price that you're getting." And his response back to me is, "Yeah, it's crazy. Basically, buyers have to ignore comps at this point when making offers." And honestly, that's a lot. There's a lot of truth to that. But I want to circle back here and talk about the pricing strategy. Are realtors trying to price low to drive value up? And my guess is no, not the majority of agents out there. Yes, there are some agents out there trying to price property low to drive the price up, But for the majority of agents out there, that's not what they're doing. They're pricing the home, honestly, at what they think it will sell for. But the reality is, us as agents right now have no idea what properties are going to sell for, because buyers are doing things that we haven't seen in our careers. I mean, nearly 18 years at this, I feel like I'm pretty good at determining a value of a property. And I've been wrong every single time. I mean, the homes are selling well above where I think it's going to go. And so your question might be, as a buyer, how are you supposed to approach this? That part is tough because there's not really, you've almost got to take the logic out of it to some extent. The agent on the other said, yeah, you basically have to ignore comps. There's some truth to that. You've got to go in with a price that you're not going to regret. And not something I necessarily recommend, but if you want to be competitive in this market, at least in my market, Southern California, that's what you got to do. And I understand that that's where it is in a lot of markets. A lot of markets are acting like this. Now, you can blame it on agents, you can blame it on the market, you can blame it on whatever, but the reality is there are multiple people willing to do this. So it's not just one person, quote unquote, overpaying for a property. And are these properties overvalued at this point? Are people overpaying when there's multiple people willing to do it? That's a difficult question. I mean, the market is basically determining fair market value at this time. We used to use comparables. We used to use these strategies to price out property. And now basically the market is dictating the price. And when there's multiple people willing to go above, beyond, make offers on these properties, then that's what, that's what the market will bear. Whether or not they appraise doesn't really matter if the buyer's willing to make up the difference on the appraisal, willing to bring in cash, willing to do whatever to get that property. So, understand, it's not agents out there underpricing homes. I mean, Zillow can't keep up fast enough. Redfin can't keep up fast enough on these properties. Now, I've had people reach out to me. Are they partly to blame for this because they're out there promoting red hot properties and all of this stuff? No, I mean, every property at the moment is red hot. I mean, it doesn't matter what market you're in. If a property comes on the market that meets, 5 out of 10 things that you like in a home, chances are it's a hot property in this market because there's not a lot to choose from. And so there's this FOMO aspect going on right now. Buyers are wondering if they're going to miss out because they're continually seeing home prices rise. And my guess, as I've told you in multiple videos, is that I think you're likely going to see home prices continue to rise for some period of time. And we talked about it last night on a live stream, which I'll link to here, that home prices are actually rising quicker than you can save money. And so if your strategy is, hey, I'm going to sit on the sidelines, save a little bit more money, and then buy a property in 6 months, that might work. It may work, but chances are that home is going to appreciate faster than you can save. So, my recommendation isn't necessarily that you buy today or you buy now, but if you're going to buy now or buy in 6 months, I would say buy now, because home prices are likely going to be higher in 6 months. In fact, I would almost guarantee it. So, and this isn't a sales pitch to get you to buy property. It's just me being real. I'm trying to be transparent to give you an idea of what's going on out there. I mean, I have boots on the ground every day, helping buyers, helping sellers, and this is the reality of the market. So what will bring home prices down? It's tough to say. We've talked about a rise in supply or a rise in interest rates. Right now, neither of those are really happening. There's moratoriums on these foreclosures. There's moratoriums on evictions. Those properties aren't going to come to the market anytime soon. And even if they did, it wouldn't be enough to stall the housing market, to stall the demand. So just something to keep in mind. I'll continue to provide information as it's given to me. I'll continue to provide you stories, because a lot of you guys like those and like to be updated on what's going on out there in the real estate world, and I'll continue to give that to you. But if you have questions for me, you have comments for me, do me a favor, leave them below. And I'll leave you with this. Agents out there aren't intentionally pricing properties to drive up the price to get a higher commission. I hear that a lot. Hey, you guys are just pricing low because you're trying to drive up the value of that home so you get more money in your pocket. That's not how professional agents work. Our job is to sell the property for the most amount of money. And yes, our commission is tied to that, but if a home sells for $10,000-$20,000 more, it doesn't make that big of a difference. So we're not out there thinking, hey, let's drive this thing up so we can make more money. We're out there, unfortunately, not really knowing where things are going at the moment, because things are moving so quickly. And so, that's coming from someone that does this day in and day out. So, even the best agents out there right now aren't seeing how fast things are moving or being able to predict the price of how things are moving. So just keep that in mind. But I do appreciate your time, appreciate your support. Hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.